Okay, as I said, it's a cutout image. I had to cut out the raw image, and I create this layer with this cutout image here with some effects. I like to use my Wacom tablet to paint over the image. It's a nice idea to learn some illustration to do this, because some effects should be that's the difference. I always say this to my students. We have many automatic tools, okay, on web, for example, for animation. We have Powtoon, we have many other tools for animation. But some kind of clients will ask you to very customized animation. And only a good animator can do this. The tool can't do this. It's the same with working and manipulating photographs. Okay, if you know and if you have some knowledge about illustration, you can, how can I say, give a final touch to the image. Okay, and this kind of effect can't be made by a script, for example, by a software. Okay, we have many kinds of plugins, add-ons for Photoshop, Gimp, and for any kind of software, but the organic manipulation of the human being are always a great tool, and it can't be replaced by a software, for example. So many effects that you see on my jobs, on my artwork, with photo manipulation or vector manipulation, are made with a hand-free operation. Okay, so this is very important. We can make difference doing this kind of final art. I think we can compare it in the food world as a gourmet touch. Okay, we can do this gourmet touch with illustration knowledge. So I can change it. I can, for example, I'll give a zoom here, 100% zoom, and I can use, for example, the finger smudge tool to adjust, for example, some part of the guy. For example, I'm going to manipulate here the head. Okay, I'm going to decrease the size of the pencil, the brush, and I can, for example, I'm not using the tablet right now, okay, I'm just using the mouse, but I can show you that you can manipulate it with a freehand touch. So we have a different effect that we had, for example, with automatic plugin. So smudge tool is a nice tool for retouching, as the dodge and burn tool, for example, to light a kind of color, like the bright here. You know, I can light it a little bit more without painting with color over it. Okay. If I need a color here, for example, I can create another layer over this head layer. Okay, I just press the new layer over here. It asks me for a name for the layer, and I just press OK. For example, if I want a color here, like a red color, I'm going back to the brush tool. Okay. And I can choose a kind of composition mode to the layer as, for example, color, and it will change the color of this part here, and I can change it again for value. Oh, what I want to try to say is that each layer has its own effects of composition. We can use screen, dodge, you know, and these differences of compositions over the layers can do a nice effect. Okay.
May I ask how you created the layer? I don't know if it's behind or in front
Okay.
of the subject, but the layer that looks like his ghost is running behind him, or it looks like air.
Yeah. I'm going to show you with this empty document here. Okay. We have an empty layer. Okay. I'm going to use, for example, this mask tool to create an ellipse area. A nice thing about Inkscape is that after creating a selection with a mask tool, I can edit at any time, just holding those dots here. Okay, and I have a selection here. Can you see this? This kind of marks here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to fill this selection area with a color. So I click over this color here, this color bar here. I'm going to select with, for example, do you remember last week when I talked about those? Yes, this wheel color tool. Okay, many kinds. Yeah, all kinds of image manipulation softwares have this kind of wheel color tool. So I'm going to select this one here, for example. Okay, I can fill it with the paint bucket tool. Okay, or I can use, for example, this edit menu and fill with foreground color, or I can use shortcut with Control and comma, and I fill the selection tool. If you notice, this fill was made over this layer here. I'm going to rename the layer as a ball, for example. Okay, if I close the eye icon, I don't see it anymore. Okay, so I'm just doing this to explain for your question. Okay, to answer your question. So I'm going to deselect. The easy way is going to select none. So I deselect the masks. Okay, I will just duplicate this layer, just dragging it over this icon on the bottom. Okay, we can see two images, one over the other one, and we have a copy here. So go back here to the layer manager, and I will select now the lower level copy. Okay, this one here. I'm going to filters, blur, motion blur. I'm going to choose, for example, the angle, it's 0 degrees, and the length here, I'm going to put 80. Okay, it's creating the effect. So I have a motion blur effect here. Okay, in the second layer, in the bottom layer, if I close the top one, I just see the motion blur. That's what I did with this soccer player here. I duplicate the layer with him, with his image, and I did this motion blur effect. But with the Wacom tablet, what I did, I took the smudge tool and I drag, as you can see, to the left to have customized effect. Okay, I can change the size here. Okay, and that's what I did. I can, for example, change the opacity of the layer, or I can change, as I said, the composition mode. The normal one is normal. I will change it to multiply, for example, and it multiplies the colors. I can change it to divide, for example, or color, or value, or we have many other effects. You don't see many difference because I'm using the same color, but let's say I'm going to change this top layer color. I will lock the alpha area, just clicking above this icon here, that locks the alpha area. It means that if I fill this layer now, it will fill only where it's not the alpha channel. For example, I'm going to change this color to green, for example, and using my shortcut Control comma, I'm going to fill it with the normal composition. I have the green over it, and above it and below it I have the pink one. Now in the top layer I'm going to change the composition mode from normal to multiply, for example, and we have a different effect.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I'm going to use overlay.
Dramatic.
Yes, this is incredible. But we have this kind of resource with Photoshop, Corel Photo Paint, Art Rage. It's not different from software to software. We just need to find it in each one. Okay, so we have many different layer effects. Okay, layer composition effects. So one layer over a second layer can have many kinds of composition effects. Okay, so that's it. Now going back to the software player, just to explain to you, I use the software effects, the software composition, resources, filters, and many others plugins that we have here. But to complete the job, to customize and to have a final touch, I use my Wacom tablet to refine this artwork. Okay, but this kind of work, for example, I can do it in 2 hours of work, for example. That was the time that I spent with this image here. Okay, so I consider that is a fast work. So for example, 40 euros, it was a nice job, you know, to do this in 2 hours of work. That's not the best job of the world, but I think it's a cool one for 2 hours.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. So that's it. But if you take a look in a more refined look, you are going to see that this image is a beautiful image because we have all of those concepts that we have studied last week. We have composition here, okay? We have the rule of the thirds here. We have color combinations here. So when we work using all of those concepts, we do a good job. For example, this one here, this new document here, I've used 2 colors, pink and green. Okay, I am in common with color theories, so I know that green and pink are good colors to complete each other. Okay, if I change the size of this green image here, okay, let's use the Gimp tools. Okay, so over here, the toolbox, I have scale tool. Pay attention, when you stop the mouse cursor over each tool, we have a description of it. Okay, so I'm going to use the scale tool to scale it. I can use, I can lock proportions. Okay, I'm just going to do this now. I can change the size with numeric inputs, for example, or using those docs here. Okay,